Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Sam, and today it is time for my favorite video of the month. We're picking my November TBR using the jar of prompts method that I usually use. This is always my favorite video of the month to film. It's just so much fun picking prompts and picking books to go along with them that I'm so excited to read in the month. But I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous this month. I am very far behind in my October TBR, and November is definitely going to try and be a catch-up month for me, as well as I really want to continue and finish a series that I'm in the middle of, because I would really like to go into the new year with less series that I am in the middle of. My list is getting a little bit daunting and I just need to take that down a little bit. So as per usual, I'm going to be picking 6 prompts to go along with 6 books for the month. And I always like to say that I'm going to be able to pick a couple books that I just am excited to read, or that just happen to become ready for hold from my library. But I really think November is just going to be another catch-up month. So we'll see how this goes. Let's just pick our prompts for the month. One other thing that I want to mention before we jump into this, I have 3 new books that I am very excited to read. They're all like brand new releases. The first one is Percy Jackson and the Olympians, The Chalice of the Gods. This is the newest Percy Jackson book by Rick Riordan. It's just a little fun adventure with the original 3 of Percy, Annabeth, and Grover. It is supposed to be a trilogy, although I was under the impression that it was just going to be a little fun standalone. But very excited for more Percy Jackson. It's a very short book. It's only like 270 pages. So whenever I can get around to reading this, this will be a super fun, fast read. The second book that I actually physically own is Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I am so excited to jump back into this world and back into Hannah Grace's writing. I did also pick up Icebreaker while I was picking this one out, because I just felt like I couldn't have the second book when I didn't own the physical first one. I do own Icebreaker as an ebook, and part of me wants to reread this book physically, because I feel like I owe it to the book to be like having read it. Does that make any sense? Like, I don't want to have this physical copy and like never actually read it. But we'll see if I end up rereading Icebreaker before I jump into Wildfire. But very excited. I love this cover. I love the colors. It is so beautiful. And the last book I do not own because it's not quite out yet, and that is Iron Flame by Rebecca Yarros. That's the sequel to Fourth Wing. I think it comes out on the 7th. I keep getting the like specific day wrong, but I did pre-order it, so whenever it comes in, I will be reading that immediately. So hopefully I can fit this on my TBR so it can like also count for something and not just add another book to my list. But regardless, that will be read this month. So let's jump into picking the prompts. As always, let's give it a good shake. I also have this idea of next year, should I like pull out the prompts that I get so I can try to get through all of the prompts that I came up with, or should I continue doing what I have been doing and just putting the prompts back in? Okay, prompt number 1, I'm a little nervous. Wolf or star in the title? It's kind of random, I'm not gonna lie. Do I have anything that has wolf or star? Okay. This is gonna seem a little unhinged. What else? What else is new? Emily and I are continuing our rereads of all of Sarah J. Maas's books to be ready for Crescent City 3. We're currently in the middle of Akamath, but the way that our schedule is working, we will be reading A Court of Frost and Starlight in November. So although I'm not putting A Court of Wings and Ruin on the TBR, we will be reading that as well. I'm going to put A Court of Frost and Starlight on here because we're going to have to read this anyway. And I actually own this. I don't think I have anything else that could work for this prompt, at least that I own. And this also checks off a number of boxes. Prompt number 2. Trying to get ones down at the bottom that maybe we haven't gotten yet. Has you in the title. A lot of like word in the title so far. Let's see what I have downloaded on my Kindle. Okay. I found a couple different options, but none that were really calling to me. And then I was checking my list of books that I created, which is essentially my Goodreads, but also the list of books that are on Kindle or nowhere. Like if I can't find them on Kindle, I can't find them on my library. It's kind of my like dumping ground for book suggestions and books that I see and want to read. I have lists everywhere. Anyway, because the newest book has come out recently, I really want to start this series, and this is Whispers of You by Catherine Cowles. This is from the Lost and Found series, but I've seen a lot of people talking about this series recently or getting like PR boxes about it, and I've been really curious about this author and this series for a while. I honestly don't know anything about this series, and would I say that like with literally every single book that I talk about? But like I said, this has been on my list for a really long time. Oh wow, it's only published January 31st and there's already 5 books out. Again, I don't know what it's about. I don't want to read a synopsis or anything and get spoiled, but it's giving like small town vibes to me. I don't know if that's like way out of left field, but that is for book number 2. That was a lot harder to find than I anticipated, but I'm really excited to be starting this series. Let's try and grab another one from the bottom for number 3. Something I've owned for over 2 years. That's a good prompt. See, some of these I really don't know when I got because like the COVID years just kind of all bleed together and I can't distinguish a specific time period. I think The Move, although I still haven't read Witch, I'm going to put on Curse because Witch is still like pending as part of my September TBR that I haven't finished, and I don't want to just like put it back on. Like it's still there. I'm still gonna read it. And in total, this is like 650 pages altogether, which is definitely chunky, but this font is huge. So we're just gonna put Curse on here. Gonna force me to read both of these, and then I can hopefully jump into Legacy and Spellbound. So this is by Nancy Holder and Debbie Vigouet. I can't tell if there's an accent on her last name. I'm not confident on the pronunciation, but we're gonna put this on. There's just a lot of like sequels in this one that I haven't even read the previous one to. Just like forcing getting through some series. Prompt number 4. Oh boy. book matching the season. November is kind of a limbo time where it's past Halloween, but it's not quite Christmas. I'm not quite ready to be reading Christmas books. So kind of just cold and wintry. Should I finally bite the bullet and just finish the War of Lost Hearts trilogy? I feel like I should, because if I wait too long, I don't want to forget about what's going on, and I had a really hard time getting through Children of Fallen Gods. That's the second book. So the third book is called Mother of Death and Dawn. And I think it's a really good idea to put this book on because if I wait any longer, I'm going to forget. And also, it checks off a series that I'm in the middle of. So I'm really hoping that this book picks up more than the second book did. I was really confused for the majority of the second book, and I'm hoping that everything just wraps up and makes a lot of sense. Although I'm definitely a fantasy girly all year round, I feel like more in the winter months, I lean more towards the more politically heavy, high fantasy vibe as opposed to the very fun, light and fluffy. Not that they're necessarily light and fluffy, but more of the romance heavy fantasy that I do in like the spring and summer. Prompt number 5. Came out in 1998. I am not doing that one again. Although, that was a good one. There was very few options. Title starts with the first letter of the month, so something that starts with N. I could do Neon Gods, although that's the start of a new series. I think I am going to pick Neon Gods for this. I own it, and I would love to knock off some books on my physical TBR as well. I think this is just going to be a fun, quick read. It's really supposed to be really spicy, and fun is massive, so that's always good. And I love Greek myth retelling, so very excited to jump into this and very excited to be back with Katie Roberts writing. And lastly, a TBR vet. Another great one. Just knocking some stuff on here that's been on here forever. So let me go to my Goodreads. So the oldest book on my Goodreads list is The Lost Symbol by Dan Brown, which is actually book 3 in the Robert Langdon series, even though I read Da Vinci Code first. So I could pick Angels and Demons, and then again continuing that series. And then we have Wicked Witch and Curse and Legacy and Spellbound, which I already have on this TBR, so I don't necessarily want to put another one. And then I have the entire Beautiful Bastard series, which I own the first one. This is a pretty old series by Christina Lauren, and I would love to read all of these, but I have to find them all. There are some very strange books on here. In the name of finishing series, let's do it. This is definitely not the thickest of the books in this series, and I did really like Dan Brown's writing and Robert Langdon's character, so I think that this will be very interesting. And this is like almost 500 pages, but again, like this font is massive, which I'm not mad at. It just means I can read it faster. But I think I'm gonna do this one. So this is definitely a really interesting TBR. We have a mix of very old books and a mix of very new books. Here's our book stack, plus 2 more on Kindle. We have A Court of Frost and Starlight for a book that has wolf or star in the title. We have Wicked Witch and Curse for a book that you've owned for more than 2 years. We have Neon Gods by Katie Robert for a book that starts with the same letter as the month that we're in. We have Angels and Demons for a TBR vet. We have Mother of Death and Dawn for a book that fits the season. And we have Whispers of You by Catherine Cowles for a book that has you in the title. What a collection. This is definitely a chunky TBR. We have, well, technically there's only one of these books on here, so this is like half as thick as it looks. But Mother of Death and Dawn is like 800 pages. This is pretty long. And then Whispers of You is fairly short, but this feels like a chunky TBR with everything else that I also have to read, but I'm very excited. I think this went well. There's nothing really on here that I'm not excited to read. I think Angels and Demons will go a lot better than Da Vinci Code just because of the book format. I'm excited. This is going to be a fun month. And we are going to catch up on my TBR so that December can just be tons of fun. So that is everything for today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed. Please let me know down below one book that you're excited to read in the next month. I would love to chat with you. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.